Mm. Never try to code something be right before you go online. Also, my head is cold. Okay. Hi there. If you're randomly seeing this in your Facebook feed, I'm Andrea and I'm here from the quilting shed in Fredericton, NB. Haha. See, look, I'm wearing my shirt. Um, in New Brunswick, in Canada. Do people outside of Canada ever see shops in Canada? We'll never know. Anyway, every week I come on Facebook and I join you live to tell you all about the newest things in the shop, if they came in. um, and generally just get ridiculous. And like I said to somebody in the past week, hey, hang out and you can watch my mom roast me in the comments. And then I remembered my mom's been doing some sort of exercise class on Wednesday mornings. How dare she? She knows that time is mine. God, I'm her oldest kid and everything. Ugh. Anyway, if you hang out with me, you can be like hanging out in the comments and saying hi, like Kathy down there who says hi. Hi, Kathy. Kathy, it's been like a whole week since you've been in the shop. I miss you. Hi, it was Kathy S. Now, before we get down to the real business, here's the leftover business from last time and some of our ongoing projects. Janet is collecting spools. If you have empty thread spools, drop them off here at the shop. I will send them on to Janet. Janet who, you said, doesn't matter. We're all quilters. This big, happy quilter fabric family. It's a fabric family. Now I got to make a little set of quilty fabric dolls. Oh, God, I think the meds just kicked in. Also, if you're new here, I have ADHD. Sometimes it's really hilariously funny. Hello, Rachel. I know you. Hello, Rachel. I know you. Anyway, this is what I do for a job. It is the best job ever. And I used to be a woman in tech. This is definitely way better, honestly. Okay, so the other things that we have going on. Random question for some of you. Sometimes I get in bundles of things like fat quarters and other pre-cuts, and they come wrapped in this really pretty grosgrain ribbon. Grosgrain. How do we pronounce grosgrain ribbon anyway? It's about 1 inch wide. It's white. It's pre-cut into some lengths. I haven't the heart to throw this out. So if you have a use for this, I haven't the heart to throw it out because my grandmother went through the war. What war? The war. If you have a use for these, I have a pile for you. I don't even care what you use them for. Come get them. What else have we got to talk about? Probably lots. This over there. So we've been working on a sample at the shop. If you've seen it on the design wall, which it is not on the design wall right now, Snowy's been working on a sample for this and was almost done. But some of the pieces wouldn't line up, not because they don't know how to sew, because they certainly do. See, here's part of it. Da, da, da. Just makes you want to go game, doesn't it? I, being a helpful mother, saw some of the pieces on the design wall and some of the little tiny squares were falling off because the half square triangles weren't laying flat. So I was super helpful and I hit those blocks with starch. I didn't hit all the blocks with starch. I only did one particular colorway.
Because that's all that was done.
Because that was all that was done. Yes. Thank you. So I only did the light blue ones. Oh, wow. You can totally see it when you compare it to the pattern.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So I only did some of the blocks with starch and left the rest and mentioned it, but neither one of us clued in. So now that, yeah, and now that Snowy's putting these strips together, guess what? The blocks, I did these light blue blocks. Light blue blocks. Say that 6 times fast. With starch, and none of the rest of the pieces were starch. And now it doesn't line up.
It's half an inch off.
Like it's half an inch off. Like that's a lot. The seams are all accurate. Everything else was cut accurately, but the starch, like, just flattened that out so much. They're off. So now they're redoing those blocks because I thought I'd be helpful. So here's your tip. If you do like to starch your pieces like I do, make sure you starch all of them and starch everything at the same time. Like you could go all the way to assembling all the rows and then starch each row or starch the top, or I'm completing this block and I will starch each block. So if you like starch, like I like starch, just do that step all at the same time. And if you do start starching something, carry on, or you will be there with your favorite seam ripper called Jack. Hi Pamela, how you doing? So yeah, I showed you those ribbons, and here's how they come. Here's how I get those ribbons. Look at this lovely fat quarter pack. We do have the canvas fat quarter packs back in stock. 32 fat quarters in the canvas basics. It's not every single color they have because there's like 60, but they left out the really boring colors. Like you don't want to, like you can make a really nice quilt with this just as is.
I think that's the initial 32 colors.
It might be the initial 32.
Yeah.
But 42 because they did expand. There's some extra colors in here that are just, well, there's the newer colors, but as my friend Liz said, she says they didn't include the really boring ones. I like that. So yeah, I get them wrapped up like this. Isn't that pretty? It shows you what's in there on the back. These are $144 and worth every penny because you get a little bit of everything. I know. So I have some of those back in stock, and yeah, we put more in the fat quarter bin. I like buying them like that because then we don't have to cut them because honestly, our arms hurt. And I say ours. I don't just mean the royal we. Me, Snowy. We gotta cut lots of fat quarters here. The other one I got is this fat quarter. I am seriously thinking, I forgot to ask if you thought we should get this in as a basic, maybe? The Chroma. Chroma fat quarters. This is a little more, if you're a fan of maybe the Stonehenge, this is also from Northcott. If you like the Stonehenge and you're like, well, the canvas is a little plain, but I want something with a little more texture, these Chroma fat quarters, like they have got some variation and texture on them. Like, I wish you could see that. Yeah, also 144, but I did put some in the bin, in the $4 bin. Yeah. And see, color cards. They're really nice. The other things that we got in new, not going to show you all of them, but eventually you will see them. Oh, and my friend Heidi from Central Daylight Time. We're all going to whisper. Heidi watches with the sound off and the captions on because it's very early where she is. So I'm starting to round out some of the solid color flannels that we had because we only had a couple. Oops. So I thought I'd get some to match some of the flannel prints that we have because we have a line of baby flannels and it just needs maybe some solids to round it out. So I got in a really nice light blue that matches and a yellow, really nice yellow that, close enough. It's hard to tell. I've heard you say it's really hard to choose fabric colors online. Yeah, it is. And sometimes when I'm ordering fabric from my suppliers, that's what I have to look at. The only time I can look at the actual samples is if a fabric rep comes to visit me. And they don't do that often because actually the rep who would be selling these called me yesterday and said, "Do you want me to come see you next week?" And I said no. But he's in Montreal. So anyway, so we have this lovely apple green, which is actually quite nice. We got this. We got a mossy green, the pale yellow, and the pale blue. And we got a really lovely chocolate brown, which I think I picked that one because I've been seeing the fabrics, the flannels that you're coming in to try and match for rag quilts and everything. And the brown seemed like a good guess. And if these do well and people are interested, then we'll just expand with more flannel solids just to round out the selection. I like having a good selection of things. You know me. We'll put that in a go away pile. The other thing I got in new, and I would have to move my laptop right now. We'll post a picture later because we definitely need to take new pictures to update these on the website. I think, maybe. So I got in some new wide backs. Regular cotton, 108-inch wide. These are 26 a meter. I know this is actually a very light gray. I got a light, medium, and darker gray. And it's a really nice cross hatch pattern. There are other styles that I got in, and I just got a selection of wide backs in colors where we just either didn't have any or, yeah, again, rounding out the selection just for you. I got a couple of greens in there, a nice actual sagey green, some of the stuff you've been looking for, but in a wide back. Sage green sometimes is so hard to find. It's just not really in style now like it was back in the 80s when you're going through your stash trying to match it with things. A nicer brown, a nice, not lime green, but a nice springy green, the 3 shades of gray. I have a dark purple wide back and a very light purple wide back. So I shot for the middle and got a medium, nice lavender wide back. And there's another red because I had a couple reds and they're like too dark, too mottled, too cherry. This one's just nice red with some dots on it. Anyway, you will see them all later. They're 26 a meter. We have a selection. That's what I'm saying. We've got stuff and things. There are some things on the way as well. I mean, the Northcott fat quarter showed up. That was good. I think I mentioned last week or the week before that I was waiting on some collections that were delayed. And I finally heard back and they said 2 weeks. They should be landing in 2 weeks. Should be landing on the other side of the country in 2 weeks. So maybe by the end of this month, maybe by my birthday, we'll have 2 great big huge lines of Lewis and Irene fabrics. That would be cool because they are extremely pretty. My birthday's in early April. That's why I said end of the month or my birthday because it's like the next week. Party to that. So I have some more notions on the way. Because, every time I have to restock notions that we're out of, I'm going to throw more things in the shopping cart at my supplier to get it up to like the free shipping. If you think the free shipping amounts are high for what you're looking for, you should see them when you're doing things wholesale. That's great. Anyway, now this is the fun of running your own business. Like, just stick a 0 on the end of everything that you're doing, and then you'll feel like I do. I will say on the upside, some of the numbers that I'm dealing with on a regular basis now used to make me hyperventilate, even as little as a year ago. It's all about the personal growth. That's all I'm saying. It's good. It's really, really good. Maybe today I can be a professional business person. Maybe not. We'll never know. I did get some other things in, but they're more like machines and equipment and specific items that people have been waiting for. Some for like quite a few months because they were either pre-ordered or back ordered. So I have a mountain of people that I have to call and say, hey, your thing is here. Finally. But yes, I did call. So while we were wandering around the shop looking for what's new, what are we going to show these people? They tune in expecting new things and me to be funny at this hour in the morning. I know. How about that time change, eh? Like, it's kicking our butts. Ugh. And I still need new glasses. Still haven't gone down there. So we ran around the shop last night, yesterday afternoon, to find some notions that maybe we forgot you forgot we had. I forgot we had, or we haven't even shown them in a while, or maybe sometimes like this one you didn't even know existed. This is a pinking rotary blade. You can turn your rotary blade into pinking shears. I know. Fits on your 45 millimeter rotary blade. Cuts a pinking line. You will use this. You can make your own pre-cuts and have them look pretty. If you are making some sort of garment with like hem or seam allowances that you're not necessarily going to finish, that will be exposed, you could use a blade like this. I just had an idea. If you were making pillowcases and you didn't want to do the French seams, you could cut your pillowcase parts out of this and just sew them. I would use more than a 1/4 inch seam in this case because usually this would be more like a 1/2 or 5/8 of an inch, and you trim them and use the pinking shear just so it doesn't fray. There's a lot of use cases for this. I'm sure somebody will add more in the comments. Yeah, I don't use my pinking shears often. I'm sorry, I used to, just don't anymore. The other thing, new customers were in there like, oh my God, these are hilarious. Ah. You've heard of stork scissors. It's the rainbow unicorn scissors. I love these. Look at them. Come on. They're as fancy as the Tula Pink rainbow metal. Look at rainbow metal is hot right now. Yeah. But they don't have the Tula Pink price tag. And we love us some Tula things, but sometimes things get a little pricey. So yeah, you can pretend to stab things maybe with the unicorn horn. Or
add a touch of magic to your sewing project.
add a touch of magic to your sewing projects. You could be doing your embroidery on your little cottagecore living room in your little fairyland with your unicorn scissors. And butterflies will float around and the birds will sing. You have your fantasies, I have mine. This is another example of, wow, Andrea really went for a selection here. I had run out of a particular kind of bobbin case holder, bobbin holders, not bobbin case. Bobbin case is the thing that's in the machine. These are bobbin holders, bobbin savers, bobbin boxes, things to put your spare bobbins in if they don't live in the little case in your machine, the little accessories drawer. Now I had ones in stock. They're labeled for long arm bobbins, but honestly, you could fit anything in there. It's got a nice little piece of foam. They securely sit in there. We have the oval bobbin saver. Just put all your bobbins in here. Another bobbin holder in nice, neat beige rose. And Sally was in and told me this is her favorite, this double-sided bobbin box. Look, it looks like a little plastic bobbin box. You flip it over. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. Act now. If you buy the front half of this box, I'll include the second side of the box for absolutely free. That's my as seen on TV voice. I know, you love it. So yeah, the lid opens one side and it also opens the other. And while Sally and I were talking about this, we had also been talking about owning multiple brands of machines that take different bobbin sizes. And I had a brainwave and I'm like, oh, you could put one machine brand on one side and the other machine brand on the other side. You could do that. Or you could do, here's my plain threads on this side, here's my specialty threads on the other side. Usually when I do a sewing project, I like to wind multiple bobbins. And let's be honest, when I start a new sewing project, I've already got 10 on the go. It's just a fact. So by the time I'm winding a bobbin, I will sit there and gather up half a dozen, whatever's empty. And I know I'm going to be sewing. Right now behind me, we have the Quilt Expression 720 currently on sale for the month of March. $3,800, and we'll include some free gifts. I love this machine. This would be what I would buy. If I was not a FAF dealer, I would just go buy this, and this is what I would buy for my main quilting machine. I am an intermediate to expert type heavy duty quilter. That machine I love. And that machine I'm sewing everything on right now. It's got a big white cone of the Aurifil thread. You can see it there with the thread stand and then going through and threaded like normally. So when my bobbins get low, I just sit there and I wind like all the empty ones just in white. And I sew everything in that white. Unless I'm switching to something that's really, really dark, like if it was an all black quilt, I think if it was black and white, I would still just use white. We do that sample that your father. So he did that black and white one. My husband did one. That was black and white prints. We just use the white thread through all of it. Don't normally change colors unless it has to be color specific. You really don't see those threads anyway, most of the time. You can even see it up here, same white thread. And this sample that's on the design wall behind me here. Woo! The beginner's quilters course there's maybe 1 or 2 spaces left. I think there's 1 space left for each day, the Thursday or the Saturday, but we've got a good crowd of beginner quilters. They're super enthusiastic. I love them to pieces. This is going to be so much fun. Just yeah. When you've been doing a particular craft for so long, I think you tend to forget how exciting and new it was when you first started. Um, and I think I'm realizing that all over again because I did take up knitting and figured it out. And now I'm like super jazzed. I'm like, look, I made the toe of a sock. I still have to make the rest of the sock, but I made a toe, a sock on knitting needles. And it still has the right number of stitches. So yeah, I'm gonna have some new quilters in here who are like, we sewed these pieces together. This is the we're all doing this quilt, little quilt, baby or lap. Those of you who have quilted a long time will recognize, or any, um, 9 patches and a monkey wrench kind of patch, and we just alternate them. There's gonna be borders. It's gonna be great. Yeah, we're really gonna have fun. So I'm excited. They're so cute. I showed one lady how to use her machine, and she's like, "Oh my god, it can do this!" And I'm like, "Oh my god, look, it can do this too!" And we went through some of the extra stitches, and it was so fun because she had an older model of that machine behind me, and they made some changes, and so it was fun. Speaking of changes, changes, turn and face the day, changes. Oh yeah, if you're new here, sometimes I sing. I have also been known to break out into Disney tunes while shoppers are in the shop. Fair warning. Um, yeah, so yesterday, the end of the day, we went through what can we show people that we haven't seen. This was actually hiding behind something else. It is the So Simple Shapes by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. You know Lori Holt. Yeah, of course we all do. The fruit salad templates that she used for probably a few of her patterns. Fruit salad includes 15 templates for applique. There's some good ones in here. It says 20 bucks. I don't know if I think I've already marked it down. I might have. If you're interested, let me know. We can do something. I've got like 2 of these. I can't get them anymore. But if you're interested in this, let me know. The other thing is these labels. One time I had a panel that had a bunch of these labels on them. So I cut it. They weren't selling well. So I cut a few apart. And you can just buy a label. These are $1 a piece. They're all different. They are kind of big. They say different things. There's more than these. I just grabbed 3 of them. I've clipped them by design because we are frightfully organized like that. And we have, speaking of arts and crafts and the finer things, we have the color and tone guide. We have one each of these, and my theory is if I hurry up and get rid of them, somebody will walk in within 2 weeks and say, "Oh, I was looking for that." But this is a nice color wheel. It's got the little red glasses, red piece of plastic. You sort of put that in front of your line of vision, and it'll give you like the contrast values because it erases most of the color. So you can see, do these blend, do these contrast. Sometimes you want them all to blend. Sometimes you want a gradient. Yeah, and this color tone with color theory. So there's this version with the wheel. There is another set that's a color wheel, but it also has these, like it's a bunch of cardstock, and it has these black ones here with the different, um, can't remember what they're called, like color scheme type, triad schemes and complementary, all those. And it'll triadic, yeah. So you put it on top of the color wheel and you can spin them around so it blocks out all the other options that you might not want. So that's a little more involved. And this one, this is like a paint chip card. See, it's got the little piece of plastic there, and it's got these. So it's got all more colors in here than you can shake a stick at. Look at that. I know, right? So I have all these color tools. There's just one of each. I'm just letting you know they're here, just in case. You know me, I like options. One might be better than the other for you and how your brain works. And one thing we have been discussing is not just a color theory class, because a lot of people know more color theory than they think they do or that they realize. We're looking at how to take those things that we know Like we know some certain colors go together and they're like, but I like bright and I'm like, all the colors go together. Some in certain combinations, you got to force it a little. So we're looking at some sort of class where we take that color theory and we show you how to apply it specifically to choosing fabrics for a quilt. And there's always the slick trick of if you buy prints from the same collection, they are going to match. I don't care if you have to pick 3 prints to go in a quilt. If you pick 3 from one collection, they match. There's no asking. They match. Yes, they match. Do they look good? Do they look good to you? Yeah. Okay, you're good. Example. Yeah. If I got 3 prints right here from the Heavenly Hedgerow collection, they match. The other thing that I think people have a hard time with, maybe we should put this in the class, is where the color appears in the quilt. That is a different skill. And it's probably a different topic. It's not necessarily, well, maybe it's related to color a little bit. It's related to the color. It's just which one do you want more prominent? I'm stopping myself or I'm just going to go on for like 10 more minutes because the brain is down that track. Conductor's screaming a little. Reel it in. Yeah, and some weeks I'm like looking at the time going, "Oh my god, I'm running out of time and I haven't stopped talking." This week I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm almost done." What? Yeah, I don't have a meeting. I don't have a meeting today. Thank God. Oh my god, shop drama. Shop drama. Did you hear? Oh my god, if you were here yesterday or you drove by, we unlocked yesterday and opened up and had to hold the door open to bring in a bunch of heavy dot boxes and then the door would not close. And then we noticed the like hingy thing on top that keeps it shutting nicely and keeps it shut was hanging out of the like thing where it should have been connected. And it turns out there was a pin missing and I was like, "Oh my god, where's the pin?" And the pin was like a half an inch long because I found the pin in the dirt outside right under the door, thank God. Um I tried to fix it and it was like 20 minutes of me like I have tools here. I have my own tools. You know, had to get out on a little step ladder, had to get out the socket wrench, had to get out some wire. At some point, I got out the hammer, but thankfully, somebody's husband showed up who was very, very tall. The husband, not the lady married to him. So he showed up, fine, young, strapping man. I'm like, great. Do you know anything about doors? Because you look like you're handy. So he had a look at it, and I love it when I could see the moment where he's like, I'm like, "You don't have anywhere to go, do you?" He's like, "Well, no, but I'm trying to figure this out." You could just see it. He's like, "I just need to figure this out. I know you help me, but like, yeah, okay." So he couldn't figure out quite completely, but he got it a little further than I had, and he has the brute strength. So he helped confirm some things. Um, we still had the door that was not closing. Like it at this point, we could get it so nothing was falling on people's heads who tried to come in. We could open and close. We could open the door and have people come in. It just wouldn't close. It had like a gap like this big, gap like this big, and I just kept saying to myself, "At least it's not raining, and it's not below freezing. Got to be thankful for something in there, even though it's really, really hard." And I know people say, "Oh my God, you're so positive." Someday I'm not, but it's just because I got to find things. Okay, so the door is absolutely hosed. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a call. Like I got here at something after 9. I had a scheduled call at 10. It like more than 20 minutes to like try and fix this door. I hadn't even fully unpacked. We had to open soon. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I cannot make this call. I have an emergency. I will talk to you later." Send. "Oh my God, I hope everything's okay. All right, no problem. See you, bye." So it's like, "Hi, dear landlord. Door won't close. This is what happened. What do I do? Help." "Okay, call this company, have them come fix it, send me the bill." "Okay, awesome. Thank you." Called that company. "Yep, we will get somebody out there probably this afternoon." Okay, this afternoon rolls around. It's so funny because we saw him drive in, go, I don't know which one. And then he kept going. I'm like, no, come back. Please come back. He was back in like 5 minutes. So he spent probably an hour because he was like, when the repair guy shows up and they're there to fix the thing and they're the experts in the thing because they've been fixing them for, probably more years than you've been alive. And they're like, yeah, this is kind of like, well, how did, like, take your time, bud. Anyway, he got it fixed. And he also fixed my lock. Hey, Susan, if you're watching this, you know how we've been having trouble locking the door from the inside because it kept spinning and you had to hold it and then do this. Yeah, it was really janky. Yeah, Jamie, the lock guy, he's fixed that for us. Super fabulous. Door is fixed. So happy. And all in all, the bill wasn't that bad. Pass that on to the landlady. Thank you. Like I said to people who were there when I was paying the bill on behalf of the landlord, being able to close the door and having it fixed for this amount of money is a lot less than having to bite my fingernails all night wondering if somebody's going to be able to easily get in and cart away a few machines. Peace of mind. It was worth it. Yeah, and you kind of have to have a locked door at night. So yeah, that was our drama from yesterday, along with suppliers with like, yeah, we're finally shipping that. Yes, this is in. Yeah, we shipped this. We dinged your credit card this much. Awesome. Here's your tracking. Oh, hey, hi, Jeannie K. So yeah, lots of things going on here in the shop in the background. Yeah, last week too, I took a bunch of photos of a day in the life, and then they wound up into the second day. At some point, I think I'm just gonna post a bunch of photos and say, "This is what goes on behind the scenes." Actually, I think it was last Wednesday because I'm pretty sure I took a picture of the aftermath of when I do this, like what you can't see, like over there, right here. Kind of messy, you know. There, this is me, just chucking things. I'm like Eleanor Burns part two. Just throw it over my shoulder. Uh oh, that is a messy fat quarter.
Yeah, this was one of the pre-folded ones.
Okay, some fat quarter folding is going on. So I think that's it for today. I need more tea. I need a granola bar. I need to go get my lunch. Did not pack my lunch. Yeah, yesterday was fun too because before I left the house, I went to make a sandwich for my lunch and it turned out my bread was moldy. So I was already kind of grumbly when I got here. And then I had to load stuff into my car and we had to clean off all the snow. And it was cold and wet, gross. And then we had to get here and then unload all the stuff. And I still hadn't had my sandwich for my lunch. And then the door was busted. So yeah, I was not impressed. I was kind of grumpy.
So I was there to help.
But Snowy was here to help me calm me down a little. It's good to have somebody who says, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. At some point. My other saying lately is, it's just fabric. Snowy was doing something with that mini and was like, oh, I have to cut more strips of this color. I'm like, it's just fabric. It's going to be all right. And it's just fabric. And I'm going to leave you with those two thoughts. Okie dokie. Carly D's just showed up saying hi to all the lovely quilters, and I'm about to sign off. Hey, Carly D. She's been building a whole pile of resources. If you are in the New Brunswick Quilters Gather Facebook group and you go into the file section and you see all of these wonderfully laid out PDFs with local quilt shops, long armors, all kinds of resources for quilters in New Brunswick, that is Carly D's fault, and she does an excellent job. So thank you. Look at that. Remember, 3 good things. That was 3 things. Look, it's just fabric. It's going to be okay. And Carly D is awesome with great resources. So there, I will leave you with that for real this time. I'm totally signing off. You guys have a wonderful day. I will post as much as I can. I know what I forgot to mention. That FAF virtual event is tonight. So it is a paid thing. And it is for the next 3 weeks. The fee gets you into all 3 weeks. We are going to have a lovely Zoom call with a fantastic FAF educator who is going to tell you all about bath accessories more than I know for certain. I know. I'm looking forward to it. I will see you later and catch you on the flip side. Toodles.